It doesn't feel like an ending. There's no dramatic curtain fall, no heavenly trumpets, no voice echoing from the clouds. Death begins in a whisper. The body exhales, and something ancient within you lets go. In that instant, quieter than breath, deeper than time, you feel the strange stillness of continuing. You are no longer your weight, your scars, your name, but you are still you. The truth is simple, and yet almost no one remembers it. You do not die. The body ends, yes, but you do not. The soul steps out as gently as light slipping through a crack in the clouds. You rise, not up, but inward, away from noise into essence. There is a profound silence now, not emptiness, presence. A stillness so complete, it vibrates with life. You begin to see differently. Your senses are no longer confined to 5 channels. You feel space, memory, emotion, energy, interwoven like a single thread. The world you knew fades like a distant song, and a new clarity begins to dawn. Time, once your master, dissolves. You are not in a moment, you are in awareness. You feel no pain, no panic. Only a calm so deep it feels like the universe has taken you into its arms and said, "Welcome home." For a brief flash, you remember everything. The other lives, the agreements, the patterns. You remember that this was not your first exit, nor your last. You've done this before, and yet it still feels like a miracle. You see beings, subtle, radiant, familiar. They don't speak with words, they resonate. They're not here to test you, punish you, or praise you. They're simply here because they always have been. Your guides, your companions, the ones who stood with you before you leapt into life, and now wait to welcome you as you return. There is no judgment in their gaze, only love that remembers what you forgot. You begin to understand something the world never told you. Death is not exile, it is return. It is the soul slipping off its costume, stretching its light again, and remembering that it was never the costume at all. And as the body lies still, you do not vanish. You emerge. You are not gone. You are finally home. What happens after the soul steps out? It crosses into a place without clocks, without bodies, without weight. There is no pain here, no punishment, no prize, just presence. This is not heaven, not hell, not the afterlife of doctrine or myth. This is the in-between, what mystics called the Bardo, what near-death experiencers describe as the void, what the soul knows simply as the threshold. It's not a destination, it's a passage, a sacred stillness where nothing is demanded, yet everything is revealed. Here, time ceases to be linear. You are not in a moment. You are in all moments, able to feel your entire lifetime, like a chord being strummed all at once. It's soft, silent, vast. You are not alone. You sense them, beings of light, presence, memory. They don't speak. They don't judge. They simply hold space. These are your soul's companions. Some call them guides, elders, watchers. But they don't seek your worship. They seek your readiness. They have walked beside you for lifetimes, and now they wait for you to settle into the silence of yourself. Because the soul, like any traveler, needs time to remember it has arrived. In this sacred pause, you are not being examined. You are being held, seen fully, without labels, status, fear, or performance. You don't need to be good. You don't need to be right. You are simply you, and that is enough. And slowly, through the stillness, you begin to feel what the world never taught you. You were never separate, never alone, never judged. You were simply forgetting. And now you begin to remember. There is no rush, no timeline, only your willingness to wake up. This is the soul's sacred space between stories, a pause between heartbeats, a breath before rebirth, and in this silence something begins to stir deep within, a readiness to look back, to feel, to understand. Because from here, the next step isn't forward, it's inward. There is no screen, no scroll, no divine courtroom, just a space that unfolds around you, soft, weightless, timeless. And then it begins. Not like a movie, not like a dream, like a flood of feeling. You are inside your own story again. But this time, not as the one living it, as the one witnessing it. This is the life review. But don't mistake it for judgment. There is no condemnation here, no tally of sins, no booming voice declaring right or wrong. Only a truthful reflection of the life you chose and the love or absence of love you carried through it. You feel every word you ever spoke. You feel how it landed in the heart of the other, their joy, their pain, their fear, their hope. You feel it all as if it were your own, because here it is. The soul has no defense mechanisms, no ego to protect it, no justification to hide behind, only radical compassion and radical clarity. You are shown not just what you did, but what you meant to do, what you avoided, what you ignored, what you never dared say and deeply wished you had. Every gesture, every silence, every chance you took, and every moment you let fear choose for you rises into the light. And yet, it is not shame you feel. It is remembrance. You weep, not because you were cruel, but because you were scared. Not because you failed, but because you forgot who you really were. You feel the ache of those you hurt and the beauty of those you helped, often without even knowing it. That one smile to a stranger on their worst day, that one moment of listening, that one hug you almost didn't give. You realize nothing was small, nothing was wasted. It all mattered. This is the moment mystics describe, when the soul, free from illusion, feels the karmic web it helped weave, not as punishment, but as perspective. You begin to understand your own patterns, the cycles you carried from lifetime to lifetime, the beliefs that were never yours to begin with. And somewhere in this profound immersion, the question begins to rise, not from a guide, but from within. What did I learn? Because this moment is not the end of a story. It is the beginning of a new chapter. The clarity from this review becomes the foundation of your next becoming. It isn't given to you. You claim it. And you understand why every great teacher, every ancient wisdom tradition has said one thing in common. Live with awareness now, because one day you will feel every ripple you ever created. Not to fear it, but to honor it. Because the soul does not seek perfection, it seeks truth. And this is your truth, fully revealed. There is a shift in the silence. The space around you deepens, not darker, not heavier, just more aware. You are being invited, not summoned, not judged, but welcomed into the presence of the council. No titles, no hierarchy, no golden thrones or blinding light. Just a circle, a presence, a field of immense stillness, and eyes that see straight through every illusion you've ever worn. These are the elders. They are not gods, they are not infallible. They are simply further along the spiral of becoming. Souls who have lived countless lives, burned through ego, learned through love and loss. Their wisdom is not harsh, it is exacting, clear as light on still water. You don't hear their voices, you feel their knowing. They see your life the way one sees a tree in full bloom. Branches, roots, storms weathered, fruit grown. They show you what you could not see, where you hid, where you rose, where you believed your fear was truth, and where you forgot your soul was fire. They are not here to fix you, they are here to reflect you. You may weep in their presence, not from shame, but from recognition. Because in their gaze, you remember what it's like to be seen without distortion, not as broken, not as weak, but as a soul in process. You feel how much you tried, how much you held back, how much you long to love deeper, speak braver, live freer. And the elders ask no harsh questions, only these. What have you learned? What is your soul ready for now? You are not told what to do. You are not shown a single path. Instead, you are offered glimpses, of timelines, possibilities, alternate realities. A version of your next life where you choose healing. Another where you choose courage. Another where you carry joy into places still drowning in sorrow. These are not predictions. They are potentials. And the council doesn't point you to the easiest one. They hold space for you to choose the truest one. You may see past life threads, karmic patterns not yet resolved, missions not yet completed, gifts not yet fully lived. You feel all of it stir in you, the old wounds that want closure, and the soul seeds still waiting to grow. And then silently, you begin to feel the answer rise, a vow, a direction, not from pressure, from inner readiness. Because you now know you are the one who must choose. And in that moment, surrounded by wisdom, stillness, eternity, you whisper to your guides, to the council, to yourself, I am ready. Now that the soul remembers, it must choose, not a role, not a name, not a destination, but a purpose. This is the most intimate part of pre-birth planning, the moment of truth, where the soul, still luminous from the review, asks itself, what am I ready to become next? You're not shown a single path. You're shown an entire field of possibilities. Some are soft, some are sharp. Some echo from past lives, unfinished threads, karmic patterns. Others rise like wildflowers, fresh, unwalked, bursting with creative unknown. There is no pressure to choose the right one. There is no punishment for decline. There is only the question, what experience will stretch me into more of who I am? Some souls choose healing, to incarnate into families full of pain, to be the first to forgive, to break cycles that have lasted for generations. Others choose courage, to speak truth in places that punish it, to become a beacon in cultures still drowning in silence. Some choose service, not fame or applause, but unseen acts of love that alter entire timelines. Others choose creation, to bring art, music, systems, inventions that shift the consciousness of the collective. And some choose love, to come back into the arms of a soul they've known across centuries, to learn devotion, patience, trust, and loss all over again. But no mission is random, and none are small, because each mission carries within it the precise frequency the soul needs to grow what was undeveloped, to soften what was hardened, to reclaim what was forgotten. This is where the soul begins crafting the deeper framework. What lessons will this mission demand of me? What wounds will it open? What truths will it require me to remember, even when the world tries to erase them? You feel the weight of it, not as burden, but as sacred responsibility, because you're not just choosing what you'll do, you're choosing who you'll need to become to do it. And something in your light begins to vibrate. A specific thread pulls at your heart, not the easiest path, but the one that feels unmistakably true. And that truth becomes a vow. Let me live a life where I do not forget why I came. The guides bow their heads. The elders remain still. The soul burns silently with commitment, because what you've just chosen isn't a life, it's a mission. And now everything that follows, your pain, your gifts, your companions, your timing, will begin to form around that choice. What if the deepest heartbreak in your life was not an accident? What if the abandonment, the illness, the betrayal weren't cosmic errors but soul decisions? Unthinkable? Yes. And yet in the space beyond time, you chose. Because here, before incarnation, the soul understands something the human self often cannot. Pain is not punishment. Pain is a portal. Every mission requires shaping, and shaping means pressure. You can't grow empathy without tasting sorrow. You can't cultivate resilience without experiencing loss. You can't become a healer without being broken open. The soul doesn't choose suffering for drama. It chooses it with precision. You are shown options: to be born into wealth, but feel emotionally abandoned, so you learn to love from within. To live in poverty and rise with unshakable purpose, so others see what's possible. To carry chronic illness, not as a curse, but as a bridge to deeper compassion. To be silenced in youth, so that you spend your life learning how to speak. These choices aren't cruel. They're sacred contracts, curriculums of the soul. Some souls even choose heavy karmic balancing to feel what they once caused, not as retribution, but as integration. You may choose to return with a soul who hurt you before, not to punish them, but to offer a new ending. You may choose to be born with a disability, not to be pitied, but to teach the world that light has nothing to do with physical form. Even trauma is chosen, not the abuse, not the cruelty, but the opportunity to awaken through it. Because the harder the life, the more powerful the potential for awakening. The soul knows this. It has lived it, and it knows. Growth cannot be faked. You don't heal by avoiding the wound. You heal by walking through it consciously, and so the soul, with unwavering presence, chooses its core wounds. You don't remember doing this, but when your life unfolds, when the grief arrives, when the loneliness aches, when the addiction whispers, a part of you will know, this is not here to destroy me. This is here to awaken me. Because pain is the soul's whisper through the body. It says, something is ready to evolve. Something old is ready to be seen. And you are not here to avoid the darkness. You are here to bring light into it. That is why you chose this. Not because you are weak, but because you are ready. You do not wake up in a body. You choose it. Before birth, the soul approaches embodiment with reverence, like an artist selecting the perfect brush for a painting that will take an entire lifetime to complete. You are not given a random form. You are not handed a shell. You shape your body from the inside out, based on what your soul came here to live, learn, feel, and transform. Every detail is intentional. Your gender, your race, your voice, your height, your hormonal rhythms, your challenges, your beauty, your so-called flaws, all chosen, all precise. Not for aesthetics, for alignment. A tall frame may serve a voice meant to be heard. A sensitive nervous system may amplify empathy and intuition. A visible scar may carry a soul contract to teach compassion through presence alone. Even your body's struggles are sacred. Chronic illness? It may slow you down enough to listen to what the world drowns out. Unusual features? They may teach you to find your worth where society won't validate it. Gender, it is not fixed. It is fluid across lifetimes, chosen for what it will activate in your spiritual evolution. Disability? Not a curse. A masterclass in interdependence, perception, and soul strength. Weight, voice, posture, complexion. You don't carry these by mistake. You carry them like a vessel made of living metaphor. Your body is the poem your soul writes through movement, sensation, breath. And yes, you will forget. You will believe your body is too much or not enough. You will be told to change it, fix it, silence it. But deep down, beneath shame, beneath conditioning, a part of you will still know, I chose this. You chose how your soul would move through space, how you would be seen, how you would feel hunger, desire, exhaustion, pleasure, ache, lightness, power. The body is not an obstacle to the mission. It is a channel. Every message your soul came to deliver will be carried through this skin, this spine, these hands. And in moments of pain, when your body doesn't do what you wish it would, it is not failing you. It is teaching you the limits of the form so you can remember the boundlessness of your essence. Your body is not your enemy. It is your instrument. And when your life ends, it will bow beside you, knowing it fulfilled its sacred task to carry your soul into every single lesson it came here to live. Before you are born, you do something most souls forget and most humans never imagine. You look down a bloodline and say, yes, that one. You do not just choose two parents. You choose a lineage, a living thread of memory, trauma, belief, resilience, silence, struggle, and love. You feel the pulse of their ancestry, the unspoken pain, the inherited shame, the patterns repeating over generations like unfinished songs. And you do not run from it. You walk toward it because the soul knows to heal something, you must stand inside it. Some souls choose families of warmth and laughter to learn joy, trust, the art of receiving love. Others choose coldness, distance, tension, even abandonment, not because they deserve it, but because those environments contain the raw material for exactly the soul's next evolution. You may have chosen a mother who couldn't nurture you, so you could learn how to mother yourself. You may have chosen a father who never stayed, so you could discover the stability of your own spine. You may have been born into abuse, not to suffer, but to awaken a deeper courage that cracks ancestral chains. This doesn't justify harm. It doesn't romanticize suffering. It reclaims it. It reframes the story not as, "Why did this happen to me?" but as, "What was I meant to transform through this?" Your parents are not your beginning. They are your gateway. You may share past life bonds with them. You may be returning to finish something left undone. You may be offering them a chance to grow through you. You may even have chosen to be their teacher, the child who brings the wisdom they themselves never received. In this soul-contracting moment, you also glimpse their own unresolved pain. You see what shaped them, what stunted them, what they were never taught to give. And still, you choose them, not to punish them, not to redeem them, but to evolve through them. You will not remember this choice, but it will echo through your earliest memories. In every holiday gathering, every ache for approval, every inherited belief that doesn't quite fit, it will whisper, "You came here to break a cycle, to soften a story, to finish what they couldn't." This is not easy. This is sacred, because you are not just your parents' child. You are the pivot point in a lineage that's been waiting for someone brave enough to choose awakening over repetition. And you did. Before you are born, you enter into the most mysterious and luminous part of your pre-life planning, soul agreements. Contracts not made with ink, but with memory, fire, and eternal knowing. You are not coming to Earth alone. There are others, souls you've danced with across centuries, some in love, some in war, some as parent or child, some as teacher or rival. And now, in this great returning, you feel their presence again. You see them before you, formless, luminous, familiar. Their energy wraps around you like an echo you've never stopped hearing. Some you will love, some will love you. Some will break your heart wide open, because that crack will let the light back in. These are soulmates, twin flames, karmic partners, soul companions. Each one carries a specific frequency, a lesson, a mirror, a key. You do not choose based on ease. You choose based on evolution. You say, "I will find you again, in the middle of chaos or calm. I will help you awaken, even if I must shatter your illusion to do it. I will love you, even if it hurts both of us to remember." Some will meet you in passion. Some will meet you in pain. Some will only walk with you briefly, just long enough to nudge your soul back onto its path. You will not recognize them by logic. You will know them in your body, the spark in your chest, the familiarity in their laugh, the feeling of a conversation that continues where no conversation ever began. You'll say, "I feel like I've known you forever," and you will be right. But not all soulmates stay. Some come only to ignite, some to challenge, some to complete a cycle begun lifetimes ago. Because not every sacred connection is soft. Some are sandpaper to the soul, necessary to strip away the layers of forgetting. And yet, every contract made in this space is born from mutual consent and spiritual love. You agree to mirror their wounds so they can heal. They agree to test your heart so it can grow. You agree to meet at the cafe, in the hospital, in the war zone, in the birth room, and remember each other for just long enough to awaken. You don't control how long it lasts. You don't decide the form. You simply promise this: "When I see you, I will know, and I will stay present for what we came to complete." These agreements live beneath the surface of your life. They are why certain people change everything. They are why some encounters feel like fate, because they are. And when they leave, if they do, you will feel broken. But the soul will whisper, "This too was fulfillment." Because no true soul meeting is ever wasted. Even the painful ones, especially the painful ones, are wrapped in sacred design. You didn't come here to be saved. You came to awaken. And your soul companions? They came to help you remember who you are. The soul is now ready, its mission chosen, its wounds accepted, its companions aligned. But there is one more decision that shapes the entire earthly script: when and where. You stand before the great map of time. You see centuries unfolding like pages in a book, ancient civilizations, rising empires, technological awakenings, dark ages and golden ones. You see Earth not just as geography, but as frequency. Each generation pulses with its own rhythm, its own distortions, its own invitations. And you listen deeply, because you're not just picking scenery, you're picking your spiritual battlefield. The soul asks, what collective energies will challenge me the most? What cultural illusions will sharpen my truth? Where can I grow and contribute to the evolution of others? You see eras of censorship, where speaking truth will cost you everything. You see ages of noise, where remembering who you are will be the hardest task of all. You see entire decades riddled with anxiety, disconnection, division, speed, and still, you do not turn away. You choose them, not because they are easy, but because they are ripe. Ripe for disruption, ripe for light, ripe for healing. Maybe you choose to be born during a pandemic, to be a light for those drowning in fear. Maybe you choose a war-torn region, to be a symbol of peace where it's least expected. Maybe you choose a time of spiritual forgetfulness, to be a reminder of something ancient and eternal. Even the country you select is layered in intention. A free land, so you can speak openly. A repressed one, so your inner strength is forged. A chaotic one, so you learn to create order within. The race, the culture, the traditions you'll be born into, none of it is random. All of it is instructional. Even your name will carry frequencies you selected. And once again, you see others, souls who will walk beside you in the same era. You nod. There is a silent knowing. We'll find each other, and we'll remember. You understand now. The timeline you choose will shape the urgency of your mission. The culture you choose will define the illusions you must see through. The environment you choose will contain both the limitations and the sacred soil for everything your soul is meant to bloom into. So you point, you choose. A decade, a nation, a city street where one day your life will turn on a single moment of choice. And the soul speaks without words. I will go there, because there is where I must become. You are ready. Your mission is chosen. Your pain is mapped. Your body and lineage selected. Your soulmates are waiting in precise constellations across time and space. And now you must make the most mysterious and holy choice of all. You must forget. You must agree to descend into the world not as a being who remembers, but as a being who searches. This is the veil of forgetting. It is not a punishment. It is not exile. It is the divine curtain that makes human life real. Because if you remembered everything, your contracts, your wounds, your promises, your truth, there would be no free will, no discovery, no journey. You would play the part, but never become the character. The soul must step into the story as if reading it for the first time. This veil is referenced across sacred traditions. In Greek mythology, the dead drink from Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. In Tibetan Bardo teachings, the soul passes through amnesia before rebirth. In Gnostic mysticism, the divine spark descends into matter and must remember itself from within the illusion. And now you prepare for that forgetting. You see it clearly. The moment you pass through the veil, the moment of conception, the flicker of incarnation, you will lose this memory. You will cry at birth, not from pain, but from the ache of separation. You will search all your life for what you already chose. Your purpose, your people, your peace, not realizing it is encoded in your very being. But that's the point. The forgetting is what gives meaning to the remembering. You will be given signs, synchronicities, dreams, gut feelings, unreasonable longings. You will meet people who feel strangely familiar. You will feel drawn to places you've never been. You will hear words that ring like ancient bells, as if you wrote them long ago. These are the leaks in the veil, the soul's way of whispering through the noise, because the forgetting is not absolute. It is temporary. It is voluntary. It is the darkness before the candle is lit, the silence before the song begins, the seed buried beneath the soil, waiting to break open. And you say yes. You say, I agree to forget, so that I may learn what it truly means to remember. This is the bravest act a soul can make, to choose the journey and then erase the map, to enter a body when and believe you are only that, to awaken inside time without knowing time is only a breath of eternity. But you trust the process, because deep down, you trust yourself. And the soul makes its final vow, I will return, I will forget, but I will remember when it matters most. There is no countdown, no command, only a stillness. And then, a pull, a whisper, a choice. You do not fall, you leap, from infinite to finite, from all-knowing to unknowing, from vast awareness into heartbeat, blood, and breath. This is the moment of descent, the sacred plunge. The soul steps off the edge of eternity and enters the spiral of time, not as punishment, not as banishment, but as commitment. You agreed to this, and now you begin. You pass through the veil of forgetting. Your luminous body begins to contract, not in fear, but in focus. You shrink, not in power, but in scope, from cosmic awareness into a single stream of identity. You begin to enter the womb, not a chamber of flesh, but a temple of transformation. Here the soul fuses with matter. Here your eternal essence wraps itself in DNA. The soul does not resist this, it reveres it, because embodiment is not limitation. It is compression for expansion. The womb becomes your cocoon. 9 months of deep silence, 9 months of cellular memory, ancestral imprint, energetic preparation. Here you are shaped not just physically, but vibrationally. Your nervous system tunes itself to the frequency of the earth you're about to enter. You begin to absorb emotions from the mother's field. You feel the echo of the environment, its hopes, its fears, its history, and still, you trust, because you are not here to float above the world. You are here to enter it, to taste, to feel, to break, to bloom. Birth is not gentle. To the body, it is trauma. But to the soul, it is re-entry. It is the moment the story begins again. From the inside out, you pass through the canal, the light, the noise, the first gasp of oxygen. And in that moment, you cry, not from despair, from severance, from the sudden absence of all that was known. You are no longer everywhere. You are here. You are a name, a weight, a gender, a cry. But behind the veil, the guides are watching. The elders bow. The soul companions feel the shift. They whisper, they have arrived. And though the newborn cannot speak, cannot remember, a flicker of truth pulses in the tiny body. I chose this. Even now, with lungs full of air and a mind wrapped in forgetting, the soul remembers just enough to begin. Because this isn't the end of your divinity. This is its most daring expression, the divine made flesh. You are small now, but your soul is not. You do not know your name yet, but you remember the light. You cry, not only for hunger or cold, but for something no one around you can see, the distance between this world and where you just came from. This is the sacred window of early life. The veil is in place, yes, but it's still thin, still soft, still shimmering at the edges. And so it happens. You talk to beings no one else can see. You say things that make adults pause. You hum songs you've never heard. You speak in fragments that feel like prophecy. You know things, not because you were taught, but because you carried them in. You walk into a room and feel its history. You sense danger before it appears. You feel drawn to certain people and recoil from others without reason. You ask questions too big for your age. Where was I before I was born? Why do I feel like I've met her before? What happens after people die? They smile and say, "You've got a wild imagination." But it's not imagination. It's resonance. The soul leaks through in dreams, in drawings, in that deep gaze some children give, as if they're looking through you, not at you. You may recall another name, another place, a scene that doesn't belong to this life, but lives within you like an unspoken truth. Carl Jung called it the collective unconscious, a place where soul memory stirs beneath the surface of every child. The Tibetan Buddhists speak of tulkus, young children who remember past lives with astonishing clarity. In NDE accounts, many return saying, "Children know before the world teaches them to forget." And so it begins. The forgetting deepens, not by choice, but by pressure. The schooling, the labeling, the rules. You are told what is real, what is normal, what is allowed, and slowly the soul's voice grows quieter, not gone, just waiting, waiting for a trigger, a loss, a love, a sentence in a book, a melody on the wind. Anything to crack open the story again. But even when the voice goes silent, you carry its imprint, the inexplicable kindness, the defiance in the face of injustice, the curiosity that refuses to die. These are soul remnants, the breadcrumbs left behind by your eternal self. And one day, maybe in your 20s, maybe in your 60s, you'll look at a stranger and feel an ancient memory stir. Or you'll hear a sentence that feels like it was written for you. Or you'll finally ask again, "Who was I?" before the world told me who to be. And in that moment, the child within you, the one who remembered everything, will smile. Because you're coming back, not to what the world taught you, but to what you always knew. It begins quietly, a chance meeting, a passing conversation, a sudden heartbreak that drops you to your knees. And just like that, the story starts to remember itself. You meet someone and feel like you've met them before, not in thought, but in the marrow of your bones. You say, "I don't know what it is about them, but they feel like home." That's not attraction, that's recognition. These are the soul contracts activating. A friend you just met but trust instantly. A stranger whose words echo something you wrote lifetimes ago. A lover who feels like prophecy and tragedy all at once. They are not random. You agreed before time to find each other when the moment was right. You said, "When I forget, remind me. When I fall, hold space. When I run, chase only with truth." Some will stay, some will leave. Some will shatter you open so the light can re-enter your chest. Because the soul doesn't awaken in ease. It awakens in friction, in rupture, in sudden mirrors that reflect not who you are, but who you were meant to become. You begin to feel it. Patterns you can no longer tolerate. Jobs that suffocate. Relationships that once made sense but now feel hollow. You crave truth, even when it costs you comfort. You seek depth, even when it means drowning first, because your soul is remembering. Synchronicities increase, repeating numbers, dreams of a life you've never lived, moments of deja vu so intense they steal your breath. The mission is not whispered now. It's rising like fire through your nervous system. It may not come with clarity, but it comes with pull. To write, to leave, to speak, to serve, to create, to break the pattern your entire lineage bowed to. This is the moment the hidden architecture reveals itself. The map unfolds not on paper, but through your choices. The people you're drawn to, they are reminders. The wounds that return, they are unfinished teachings. The fears that now feel like cages, they are invitations. Because your soul didn't come here to float. It came to engage, to walk through the contracts it signed before breath, and now the agreements are waking up in your life, in real time, in real tears, in real love. And through it all, you remember, I chose this, and I am no longer waiting for permission to become who I came here to be. One day, quietly, suddenly, you will stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What did I come here to learn from this?" And in that moment, you cross the threshold from victim to creator. Because deep in the marrow of your remembering, you finally hear the truth spoken from within. You are the one who chose, not from ego, not from fear, but from soul. Every part of your life, the pain you didn't understand, the people who loved you too much or not at all, the body you judged, the mission that burned under your skin without a name. You chose all of it, not for punishment, but for purpose. The wounds that broke you were written into the script so that you could rebuild yourself differently. The people who triggered your abandonment were echoes of a deeper vow, to learn self-worth that no one could take away. The dreams that wouldn't leave you alone, they were soul memories knocking at the door of your denial. You begin to see your silence wasn't weakness. It was your apprenticeship in truth. Your loneliness wasn't emptiness. It was the invitation to meet yourself. Your rage wasn't failure. It was fire rising from every lifetime where you swallowed your power. And then something opens. Not in your mind, in your heart, in your field. It's not clarity that arrives, it's ownership. You walk through the world no longer begging for approval or understanding. You begin to live as one who knows, I came here on purpose, and everything I've lived is part of what I came to teach, to offer, to alchemize. You stop performing, you start embodying. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You realize this is the perfect moment, because your soul is awake now. Awake in the body, awake in the timeline, awake in the remembering. You don't need to be fixed, you need to be claimed. Not by someone else, by you. By the soul that chose this family, this country, this pain, this gift, this purpose, this path. You feel the weight of it, not as burden, but as truth finally recognized. You are not becoming who you are. You are returning to who you've always been. And this time, you carry the fire of full remembrance with you. And you walk forward, not as someone trying to find their way, but as someone who remembers they built the road. Because in the end, there is no external voice declaring your power, no final ceremony, only this quiet revelation echoing through your chest. I was never lost, I was simply asleep, and now I remember. I am the one who chose.